let's talk about warning lights. So if I have a warning light in my vehicle, how soon should I get the vehicle checked out?
Well, some of those warning lights immediately. And here's an example. Red brake light could be low fluid, which means the fluid could have leaked out or gone below the minimum safety level. That's something that should be checked immediately. Airbag lights to me are important. If an airbag light is on, the airbags may not deploy in the event of an accident. So that's an important light. Check engine light could be important or couldn't be, and here's a couple of scenarios. If the check engine light comes on steady and the car doesn't feel any different, it's probably okay to drive the car and make arrangements to get it serviced. Check engine light does not monitor oil, and in many cases does not monitor coolant level. It may monitor coolant temperature, but you'll have other warnings for that. However, if the check engine light is flashing, that's an indication that severe damage to the catalytic converter is possible. Not always the case, but entirely possible. So that's a case if that light's flashing would be very important to have it checked immediately. So anything to do with brakes or anything to do with a flashing check engine light or airbags, I think are immediately due to be done. Anything that's temperature related must be done immediately. Oil lights are curious too. Some cars have an oil level light and an oil pressure light. Some cars only have an oil pressure light. We had a customer who had an older Mercedes that burned a little bit of oil, and when his oil level light came on, he knew he just had to add oil. Well, his daughters became of age and they started driving a little Toyota, and the light came on, a little oil can, similar to Dad's car. And he said, "Dad, the oil light came on." He goes, "Oh, just put a little bit of oil in it. It'll be fine." Well, he didn't realize the difference between the Toyota and his Mercedes. And the girls ended up ruining the engine because it was an actual oil pressure problem and not an oil level problem. And oil is under pressure inside the engine to help lubricate the engine internally. Oil level makes sure there's enough oil to circulate as the engine's running.
Hmm. Now, is that different for different vehicle? I mean, does Mercedes typically have one light versus somebody else's, or do we just need to break out the
You,
manual and figure out what
yeah,
ours is?
you have to break that manual out to figure out what's on your car. Um, we actually, I just learned recently there's certain Mercedes engines do not have an oil pressure warning system, and I'm sure that'll change when Mercedes realizes that that was a big mistake. So, but almost all of them have an oil level warning system. So it's really important to know what light's coming on, what your car is equipped with, and what to do.
Okay. Now, you've mentioned the manual a few times. I imagine there's people that will hear this and like myself will be scrambling to find their manual, and but some won't be able to find it. I think you said that you can get them online or from the manufacturer.
Yeah, well, you can always order it from the manufacturer. You can always, well, as long as you're still in print. If you have a much older car, maybe more difficult to get. Maybe you can find a used one somewhere. But for a fact, I know that you can go to the Mercedes-Benz website, or you can go to the BMW website, and they have an owner's manual page. You put in your car, and look up that manual. I'll tell you, it's really important. We had a gentleman with a G-Wagon he just bought, and he felt there was something wrong with it. And we said, no, you can't push this button. You can't lock the differentials on this car. It's different than a normal four-wheel drive. And that's that boxy Mercedes, off-road vehicle, the G class. And he says, well, no, I should be able to do that. So we went online to the Mercedes website, opened up the owner's manual, and we were able to print the pages for him and show it to him because he didn't have one. And that was the only way we could show him that that was the proper way to use the vehicle. So that's why it's so important to know. The owner's manuals, it takes hours to get through them now. They're half an inch thick. There's so much information.
Which is probably why people don't read them.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah. Well, Frank, I appreciate your time and answering all the questions today. That was great value. Thank you very much.
Hey, it was my pleasure. Thank you for calling.
All right. Have a great day.